Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. And today I'm going to share with you some news regarding to AR, VR, MR, or anything cool. Okay, so the first one is news.bitcoin.com. The title is called, since we talk a lot about, AI in our previous chat. Yeah, so the title is called Bill Gates Probes Up AI Against the Metaverse and Web3 Tech. Yeah, so it is very interesting. We recently we saw a lot of ChatGPT, and also ChatGPT is super powerful. I saw a lot of like how to like the tutorial how to use ChatGPT. Pretty much whatever you want. It's like the upgrade version of Google. Google, when you Google, it's individual site, and you still need to look up the data, look up information, look up each site, and do your own, customization. And if you have any coding you wanna debug, you still need to do things. But ChatGPT is like the upgrade, customized version of Google. It knows a lot of things, right? So yeah, so I think that's a big revolution. And now it seems like later on we are going to have another session speaker event talking about the generic AI, and which AI can help us to create a lot of interesting stuff in virtual reality, right? So yeah, in this news, it talks about Bill Gates consider AI tech a revolutionary, right? So yeah, so he showed the preference for AI over the other alternatives such as Web3 and the Metaverse. So yeah, before we think that, oh, the world will go through, the 3D spatial world like internet, right? The future of internet. But he thinks that maybe it's more AI rather than, the special internet. Personally, I would think it's the combination. It's the not only special, special computing or metaverse or whatever you want to call Web3, but on top of it, it can have AI and maybe 5G, right? And then also other technology, right? AI, Bill Gates said that AI is the big one. I don't think a Web3 has that big or that metaverse stuff alone was revolutionary, but AI is quite revolutionary. So Bill Gates thinks that AI will be, the future. And recently I listened to one audiobook. It's called Singularity, right? It's one of the book that Elon Musk recommend or Elon Musk thinks is good. I mean, it's all online, right? And when I uh, listen to that audiobook, it talks about in the future AI will be in all the different fields, pretty much like whatever you watch the movie from sci-fi, right? AI will do the majority of the decisions or analytics or take over a lot of, I don't want to say take over our jobs or something, but it seems like it's happening, right? Recently I listened to Apple News. It talks about in Silicon Valley, they have some companies which is doing the pizza, right? Using robot arms to create a pizza from the original materials to at the end it will make a real final pizza, right? Then, the restaurant people, if everything becomes uh, robots or robot chef, right? It becomes, yeah, start from that and attorney, right? So Bill Gates has, navigate the vision of crypto, and he thinks that, yeah, yeah. I mean, he thinks that interesting stuff. For example, like he doesn't think that the cryptocurrency might be a good way to do things, but he also predicting the digital meetings from 2D to 3D virtual space. But the thing about it is that he thinks that AI will be more useful or be more prominent or be more more like bigger or revolutionary in the future than Web3 and Metaverse. Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself if you have any thoughts. Yeah.
I agree. I think he's probably right. And I think when you think about the things that could overrun Google overnight, I think something like this could do it. Because the searches are so much more targeted. I know when I'm searching on Google, one of my biggest frustrations is it gives me a bunch of results that I'm not interested in that don't even contain the keywords that I typed in. And so it's really hard to make Google pay attention to my keywords. And I do that every day. I go through that. So I think overnight, something like this could take over from Google. And where would they be? It's very rare that you have a situation where one of these big companies could be just out of date overnight. And I think that could happen. So I think he's right. And I think Microsoft has been looking into buying
Yes.
ChatGPT. And so
Yeah.
if I were them, I would do it. I would just buy it.
I don't know. I think if ChatGPT can become something like a Wikipedia, right? It becomes the human's assets. It might have better vision about taking care of the entire human beings. But I do see that if we don't pay for the service, then the service won't be as good as it should be. So there's some battles between if it is becomes public open source, right? Then the entire humanity, right, will live up very fast because there's no, issues for the code. But if one company dominate that, right? Yeah, I would say absolute power leads to absolute collapse or
Corruption.
corruption. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you know, there's only two search engines right now. There's Google and Bing,
Mm.
and all the other ones have been gobbled up or put out of business. And so
Yahoo.
I think, you know, the GPT stuff can be so targeted. Um,
Yes.
I think that very well could, I think Bill Gates could be right, and that very well could be the future in terms of search.
Yeah, in terms of search. And search has all the data, right? Yeah, so yeah, I personally really think that ChatGPT really bombard that our life. But who knows? Maybe this is just beginning, right? Think about at the beginning when we come up with a mouse, right? Or graphic, the first Apple computer just came out, we were surprised. How can computer become so small and so portable, right? Maybe this is just start, right? Like, oh, we type a chat and something comes up. Maybe in the future it will be a little, nice robot, and they they can listen to our command and do everything for us. Then here's comes the question: if robot do everything for us and we become so stupid, so dumb, and we don't even need to do anything, yeah, because the white collar stuff, a lot of people trying so hard for lifetime, right? Become a lawyer, become a doctor. What if those goal was being taken away, the dream was being taken away by a simple robot produced by whatever a Chinese company, right? Just came
Right.
out and become a super professional doctor and become your home doctor, right? Then who will pay such a high price to go to the hospital to see a doctor if there's a robot who can do attorney stuff, who can do who is your lawyer, who is your doctor, who is your chef, who is
Yeah.
yeah, who can take care of you, right? And what's the meaning of life? I don't know. It's like there's no goal. I don't know. Maybe
I
we
was
just
just
really fat.
I was doing some photography yesterday afternoon, and usually with, high-end cameras and stuff, I shoot raw, because that gives you the most opportunity to manipulate things. And I was on the iPhone, and I shot some raw, and then I shot some non-raw stuff, and the non-raw stuff was much better. I was surprised. The
Wow.
HEIC images, which are essentially JPEG images, from the phone, were better, much better than what I normally expect from phones. And it automatically does high dynamic range and all this stuff when creating those images. And so I was able to improve them quite a bit, but still, that was better than the raw images. And so, you know, uh, photographers certainly are in jeopardy, and the big camera companies have lost uh, their their low end market share to smartphones.
Yeah.
And the funny thing to me is that they have not taken advantage of these computational photography aspects and incorporated it in their high-end cameras. So from Nikon, for example, now you get a $6,000 camera, but it doesn't have the computational photography stuff in it that you find in an iPhone. What's the story? Why haven't they moved on that? So professional photographers are in enough of a bind as it is,
Mm.
because they're getting less business because of the
Yes.
smartphones, and yet they've increased the price of the cameras just dramatically,
Mm.
and have not included the features, all these AI features and so forth that are in the smartphones. So there's another area where this stuff is taking over. So, and I think you're right. I think you could end up with a situation where AI takes over a lot of things, and and it's a big change. I think AI is just starting to come into its own, and I think Bill Gates is right. I think it's a big change that's coming.
I
Yeah.
was going to add that the lawyer case is way closer than we actually realize. There's a company called Do Not Pay, and they
Yes,
have officially put that in that next month an artificial intelligence robot is going to be representing a case. And that's very interesting because I don't know how much you read about that, but the CEO of the company has been getting death threats from a variety of lawyers and
Yeah.
just people overall who were like, what are you doing? Like, these aren't just pizza jobs you're taking. These are people who went and, took the
Yeah.
bar exam and paid
Yeah.
thousands upon thousands of dollars and put in thousands of hours. And, on one hand, I totally see that the the CEO is saying, well, we want to democratize law and we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to be fairly represented. And, he has all of these stats about how he's gotten like had thousands of cases of people out of traffic tickets and, unjust dues and fees and fines, which is amazing, but also at the same time, just as we're saying, it's like, wow, that is a big leap that feels like it's supposed to be it's always 5 years out. Everyone's like, oh, you can see it in 5 years, or we may see in 10 years, but this is next month. And it's just so interesting. So we'll see what happens. That CEO said if the AI doesn't win, then the company would fully put all of the take on all of the fines for everybody involved. But no matter what happens, win or lose, it's opening a door that I don't see would be shut anytime soon, because the big thing is what is and is not allowed in the courtroom. And they found that loophole that allowed an AI to be in someone's ear. And so now it'll be whose courtrooms allow for that to even happen, as opposed to
right.
if it happens.
In fact, I think that same company is offering $1 million to any lawyer who will take them into the Supreme Court, into a Supreme Court case.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
interesting.
AI is kind of like I think, attorney, right? It takes a lot of, for example, time, money, effort just to be an attorney. And also if you want to hire an attorney, it's a very pricey,
Well,
fee
it's
to
a
pay.
big deal for startups. I mean, if you're a startup
Yeah.
and you don't have a lot of money and you're developing new technology, you have to file patent applications, and it costs about $30,000 to see a patent application all the way through the process, and that's a lot of money. And
What
if
if, what if the robot is more like AI, more like helping you to file the patent, right?
yeah, yeah, what if it helps you write the patent application and
Yeah,
takes
like
care of the filing?
$30 per one case.
And typically what happens if you file a patent application is it will be rejected. And the Patent and Trademark Office issues what's called an office action. And they'll say, we're rejecting it for this reason. And then you have to respond. And, you sort of have to duke it out with the Patent and Trademark Office to get your patent approved. If you had software or a website or whatever that you could access that would help you do that, instead of paying the $30,000, I mean, that's a revolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. And ChatGPT can help people novelties, right? Like me. And I just type like how to use AI to code a robot pet or robot dog. And I just type a sentence and everything just show up like, oh, this is how dog walk forward, walk backward, the tails moving, right? All the stuff like using Python, right? Like writing the code. So all I need to do is just copy and paste and put into the chips. And the robot dog will walk, which I think, yeah, I mean, people who doesn't even know what's going on and, within 5 seconds, they can do something that like experts,
Maybe
which
you could
is,
have something generate a class for you. See, I want a class on such and such,
yeah, let's
and then
try
have
it,
it
right?
generate the class.
Yeah,
I went to another generative AI thing
yeah,
the other
let's try
day
it. Yeah.
where you supply a frontal picture of a face,
Mm,
and then you give it some text,
mm,
and it will speak the text. It will take that picture and move the lips for you
mm,
and move the head around a little bit and stuff like that. And the idea was that you don't have to create a video of a talking head. It will just do that for you. I thought the results were slightly creepy, and it was like what's called the uncanny valley,
oh,
where
yeah.
you have something that sort of looks human, but not quite right.
Yeah.
And it sort of freaks you out a little bit. And that's what this reminded me of. Um, but that stuff is coming as well. Creating a deep fake of yourself so that it can, you can create a video without doing multiple takes and all this stuff that's easy to edit and change if you want to. And so I thought that was just scratching the surface. And it's just doing talking heads. It's not doing a full body. I think we'll probably see a full body thing in the talk later on this morning.
Yeah.
So
Imagine if the website, right? Because the majority of our data or pictures, everything, is living on the cloud, right? Imagine AI automatically use all your data and create a digital twin of you. And that
yeah,
digital
yeah,
twin of you, for example, like today, it's not actually me. It's a digital twin of me to
yeah.
represent. And according to what I will respond, it talk like who I am. Like they have a soul, but they just, a bunch of code running, right? So yeah, and what if that person is out of control? Maybe, yeah, I don't know. It can take over the real person, right? Yeah.
A brave new world.
Yeah, right. Any other thoughts, Kyle? Do you have any thoughts?
I was going to say that what you were talking about automated learning, the new verse language that's going to be coming out, that I believe it's Unreal, right? That is putting out the verse language, and it's was being compared to Haskell. And I watched this the unveiling of it at a Haskell conference, and was trying to figure out, what bits and pieces I could understand, not knowing that language, but knowing a little bit of C++, knowing a little bit of C#, knowing a little bit of Python, how much of it I could understand just in this. I think it was like under an hour presentation. But as soon as I finished it, I actually went into ChatGPT and said, how do you program in verse? And so it didn't, because the language isn't released, then it just pointed me in the direction of the video I just watched, as well as a number of other links to get information. But it'll be interesting to see what happens as new languages come out, because that's a thing that's definitely been happening, is that each of these big companies is like, well, I want to throw my hat in the ring, as this is like the next major thing that everybody needs to learn, and whatever X, Y, and Z. But as these new languages come out, and if ChatGPT can code in them quickly, will we be more reliant on Chat GPT and other artificial intelligence sources to help us, slog through this? Or, will we as people grind and put in the manpower hours that it takes to really learn all of these new languages? It'll be interesting, like because that could very quickly become a crutch that would be dangerous, that people aren't putting in that extensive research. If the idea is, what's the point? Because it already knows it better, and it's we're seeing jobs being pulled left and right and trialing in the law degrees and in the field of medicine. So that's crazy.
I think Unreal is another very interesting player in all this, and it'll be interesting to see how much of a foothold they get, because some of the talks I've been going to lately with the generative AI stuff, you can't, Unreal has restrictions where you can only render their characters using the Unreal Engine. You can't take the models and render them through something else. You're not supposed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. It's part of the user agreement. So if they're going to do that, they better give you the stuff to make it easy to use, like their MetaHuman creator and so forth. Otherwise, they're going to be overrun by these other things. So I think that's another very interesting point, is how big of a role is Unreal going to play and MetaHuman creator going to play in all this?
Yeah, I find it a very intriguing topic. It's interesting because AI is moving at such a rapid pace, And I had a talk with my fellow developers. So the question is, in the future, is our jobs in jeopardy, or does it make it better for us? I think because we had that topic of discussion, as software developers, and I'm not being very biased. And look, I agree that AI is moving, cars are automated, with Elon Musk and Tesla and stuff. That's great. But we have to think about what's going to happen in 10, 15 years. My fellow developers came up with, this topic, what's going to happen to our jobs?
Well, I think
it's great. It's in a positive. Sorry.
Go ahead.
In a positive way, it's great, with automation and AI, but what's going to happen in 10, 15 years?
I think one thing is you have to evaluate these technologies, and if they give you an advantage, you have to realize that the people that you're competing with are going to be using this stuff. So if it gives you an advantage, you have to be able to know how to use it. But there are a lot of questions, can you legally?
I think in a positive way, with the VR and AR for mental health, schizophrenia, it's perfect. That's very positive. For helping people. I was watching a VR games which helps with mental illness and stuff like that. Very interesting. That's very good from a medical point of view. It's just certain topics that as software developers we question ourselves, what's going to happen in the future,
Yeah.
No,
it's a good question.
That's all. Okay, you can continue.
Yeah, so I would say later on, definitely listen to the upcoming, like 20 minutes later, or a half an hour later, another generative AI, the speaker. Yeah, if you see the work, I think I post the URL on the meetup page, right? It's really cool. You can see everything generated by AI. And there's another startup, I forgot the name, but my friend told me that it's a very interesting startup which using voice inside virtual reality, and it will create things that you say. For example, if you are in VR, right, and you just say a bridge, and there will be a bridge shows up, a river, and there will be a river shows up. You should say it, and it will show up. And it reminds me of Bible, right? At the beginning, God say something and something just happened, something like that, if I didn't remember wrong. And we are playing the creator, something like that. And we just say things and things just happens. Like how crazy it is. Yeah, it's just my thoughts. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Any other topics? I have another videos that I want to show. It's a
Go ahead.
very long video, but yeah, we can kind of cut into small chunk. Let me share. It's a generative AI, but uh it's a Chinese one. Let me kind of share. It's the AI Baidu's AI Developer Conference. Yeah. Oh, it's in Chinese. So maybe there's a let's see whether there's a CC. Maybe let me put like the transcript. Can I put transcript? Oh, transcript is yeah, maybe there's like a transcription, right? Maybe that's
让百度搜索能够快速进化。
yeah, this one.
今天我要给大家介绍百度搜索高阶进化的2项杀手锏技术，之一和千流。这是百度搜索新一代核心技术的代表。首先是跨模态大模型之一。近年来，随着数据的井喷、算法算力的全面突破，通用性强、效果好的大模型技术逐渐成为人工智能发展的主流方向。对于搜索面临的复杂任务，我们融合多项技术创新，构建了具有跨模态、大规模、高效率3大特点的之一。首先，之一可以理解全网文本、图片、视频、结构化信息等形态各异的资源，持续进行海量知识资源的学习收集，打破资源形态的界限，将最满足用户的搜索结果呈现给用户。
Pretty much I jump in. This is represent that in the future Baidu's AI will combine with all the text, image, videos, and then all the data that inside the in the web page, right, in the cloud. And whatever you search, it will combine everything, the data, and give you the optimized version. It's better than Google, because Google, it has using the SEO thing, right, trying to put the keywords, and just like Jim said, that sometimes there's not even has the words inside. Why? Because probably they pay to get ahead. So if we do this will be much more customized. And this is
这就好像人和人在面对面交流的时候，需要充分调动人的听觉、触觉、嗅觉等多种感官，更有助于理解对方的意思。我们所构建的跨模态大模型之一，正是借鉴了人类对于复杂真实场景的学习和理解过程。通过让模型具备多模态的信息理解能力，充分理解用户的需求和互联网上海量的资源，无论是文本、图片、视频还是结构化的信息，都能统一理解，并真正为用户找到所求。
This is crazy. It's like it talks about if we want to understand what user needs, right? Just by typing the text, which is Google is using, right? For example, if I type umbrella, it will show up all the umbrella information. But user probably doesn't really want to buy umbrella, or user just want to learn umbrella. But according to what you need, for example, you just say or write like, oh, I want to know more about umbrella, right? Or something history or something, right? Or what's the best place to buy, or or something, right? And it will very customize and show you what you want instead of showing the massive information. Yeah.
其次，解决复杂问题的背后，之一大模型的训练需要极大规模的算力和推理能力的支持，对学习规模和处理效率都提出了极高的要求。之一能够理解1000亿综合语料和100亿视频语料，每天进行着10000亿次的 在线推理。这背后，百度智研技术成果的加持，让之一领先业界。一方面，基于软硬一体的定制硬件，讯推联合优化的模型架构，通过百度智研的以量化蒸馏为代表的模型压缩和预估优化技术，实现了业务近乎无损的大模型落地。另外一方面，依托于百度智研的飞桨高性能并行训练框架和百度昆仑芯片，我们构建了业界领先的超大规模预训练技术和一整套先进的模型小型。
Wow, it can do simulation. It can predict. Yeah, according to the previous knowledge, it can predict what's the future and do the simulation. It's like, from the data, right? We can predict who will win the election, and it can do all the data stuff and predict what's the future.
蒸馏压缩率高达99%，完成了之一的持续进化学习的落地，把更前沿的 AI 技术带到了千家万户。让每一个用户都感受到了体验的提升。之一让百度搜索之于一而万事通，让我们更懂用户。
Yeah, this is a very
在计算平台方面，未来神经离态计算是非常重要的一个方向。我们在新兴应用领域方面开发演示系统，包括智能交通和数字人，从客户端边缘到云，以技术为重点，并联合我们的合作伙伴，推广人工智能技术软硬件解决方案。我们正积极地和合作伙伴百度一起推动人工智能在大模型场景的应用。我们和百度在数据中心级产品合作层面，针对飞桨的模型和框架，将英特尔智强全系列 CPU 都做了深度优化。英特尔智强可扩展处理器每一代在 AI 处理能力上都有很大的提高，比如即将发布的英特尔第4代智强可扩展处理器 Sapphire Rapids 集成了 AMX。可以看到，拿英特尔8为例，在 S-Lake 上，英特尔8的 per cycle per core 的 ops 数是256，在 Sapphire Rapids 上边可以达到2048。AMX 可以提供之前 AX512 8倍的指令操作数上的提升。Ernie 3.0是百度最新推出的 NLP 大模型，能够实现阅读理解、观点抽取、自由问答等任务。Ernie 模型的效果非常好，尤其在中文任务上，但大模型的使用成本非常高。飞桨自然语言模型库开源出来的 Ernie 3.0轻量化模型，能够解决这个成本大难题。模型又小又快又准，通过软硬件联合优化，百度 Ernie 3.0 Tiny 在英特尔智强可扩展处理器上的性能达到了业界的领先水平。英特尔研究院在人工智能方面致力于前沿科技的探索。现在人工智能运算大部分是依靠 GPU、CPU 或者是带有非常多的矩阵运算单元的加速器，它们的能耗是非常大的。而神经离态运算的一个突出的优点是，它可以在算法层级和硬件结构设计上突破这种依赖于大量乘加器的模式，而是通过模拟人类神经元的形式去构造底层的。
For this section, it talks about in the future when computer are calculating, it use the neural, our brainwave to calculate things instead of the single 0, 1. I would say it's probably more similar to quantum computer, which has multiple way of doing things.
Or neural networks.
Yeah, neural. Yeah. So, wow, this. Yeah, did Google do it, or I don't know? It's just Baidu the first one to have these skills.
Well, you can predict things, but are the predictions accurate? It's like I wanted to shoot the weather was predicted to give us 12 hours of thunderstorms a week ago, and overnight, and I wanted to set up a time lapse to photograph the lightning, and it kept predicting thunderstorms right up to the last minute with the weather service I was using, which was Weather Underground. And so it would say, okay, the thunderstorms are going to start in the next hour, and it never happened. And each hour it said, okay, it's going to be the next hour. It never happened.
Yeah.
So, you can make predictions, but are the predictions accurate?
Yeah, so interesting. I think Google has all the most advanced technology. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Baidu seems like they are comfortable. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna add that it was probably within the last 6 months that I did a deep dive into Google, and I read that in one of their more recent updates, they changed the way that they were doing their SEO processing. And you had said something about this earlier, Jim, that your keywords weren't coming up, and you're like, why are my keywords not coming up? And they specifically got rid of keywords being one of the prominent ways that their search engine works, which was a little bit mind-blowing, but that they were trying to look at it from a holistic whole and say, well, yes, we hear that you said, a kitty playing with a ball of yarn, cute, but did you actually mean, whatever the statement is? And that's based on the last week and a half of your search results, coupled with whatever other data that they've been collecting on you with, if you've got a Google phone or any Google devices, then they're using all of these streams of input to be able to create these best guesses. And so obviously they're not going to be releasing what it is that they're doing and how their algorithm is working, but it may be something similar where it's this very deep learning artificial intelligence, or it could be that it is this AI intelligence coupled with the fact that they're a pay to play model, and that so much emphasis is put on the partners who are paying for advertising slots that maybe they've started to move in a direction that's not as efficient as a company like this one, whose sole purpose is to optimize data as successfully as humanly possible, and not thinking about, well, we're optimizing it, but also, Home Depot is just paid us $1 million, so we need to make sure and put their input in. And so it'll be interesting to see what actually happens in the next few years, if they're able to keep up, because so much of their model is based on paid advertisements.
Yeah, I think whatever they're doing, it's not working for me.
Yeah.
No, I would agree with you. I think it's terrible recently.
Yeah, I think a paid advertisement, right? If you see a lot of like ads right now, companies got a lot of fine by the data, selling the data to advisors, right? So this way of, I would say, traditional way of doing things might not work in the future, right? Then in the future, if everything is so customized, how can company profit from this, right? And that's why I think ChatGPT, if this is bought by a certain big company, then, or someone can dominate by so customized, so like know everything about you. Well, if they want to sell the data, or they want to promote something, or even lead you to another way that is far away from truth, then yeah, I don't know, like this is something that is in the future. So that's why I think if those really powerful AI, if it can become open source.
I think here's an interesting case. I've been noticing changes in Amazon lately. And one of the changes is, you used to, for every product, basically, it would list products that other people bought or looked at, who bought or looked at the product page that you're looking at right now. And I love that. I would constantly use that for finding the best products for what I was trying to do. And they've eliminated that now in many cases. And they just recommend, they say, oh, you may be interested in these products. And I thought, the humans who were doing the searching often knew better what I was looking for than what Amazon knew. And they've eliminated that, which has really significantly reduced my ability to find the products that I want. Maybe that's not true for everyone, but it's true for me. And so that's an interesting case where Amazon thought they knew what you were looking for better than you did, but no, the other humans that were looking at the same things that I'm looking at knew better than what Amazon knows, and they've tried to eliminate that. So I think that's another interesting example.
Yeah, I think AI opens up another world. Before we talked a lot about, cryptocurrency, blockchain, right, Web3, and decentralized, right, DAO, right, like last year, right, and we talked about Metaverse, AR glass, and look up online. A lot of people agree, disagree, right? A lot of people, like I saw some articles, people agree or disagree about in the future, we will have like the entire life living on the virtual world. A lot of people disagree, right? But for AI, it seems like everyone do agree with AI will become the next revolution thing. So yeah, maybe, whatever we are so passionate about will become the supplement of AI, right? Maybe some little plugin for AI, and AI will dominate the
I
entire
think we're
thing.
going to need to break now.
Oh yeah, okay, great. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today, and hopefully see you next week. Okay, we need to jump into the speaker event. Okay, bye bye.
Thanks, Tom. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.